Hello, Virtual Academy art classes, and welcome to week 3 of virtual learning. I hope you had a great long weekend and are ready to get back to school. I know I am. We definitely had a long enough summer. So let's talk about what we're going to do this week. So last week we created a contour drawing of an object in your home. And if you didn't do that lesson, or if you did it but you can't find your paper, feel free to just make another one pretty quickly. Remember that you're just finding something in your home where the contours of it have an interesting and unique look, and you're tracing it about 10 times on your paper, overlapping it as you go. Definitely go back and watch that video if you didn't watch it yet, and you'll be ready for this week's lesson after that. So what we're going to do this week is we're going to color our project using a specific type of colors, and it's called Analogous Colors. So we're going to talk about what Analogous Colors looks like, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to use for our project for that. So let's get into that. Let's talk about analogous color families and what that means for our art project this week. So here we are looking at two color wheels. The color wheel on the left is probably one that you're more used to seeing. This is the primary and secondary colors together. So we have just the rainbow order of colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. On the right, we have a color wheel that is broken down into primary, secondary, and what they call tertiary colors. So a tertiary color is what happens when you mix a primary and a secondary. So basically imagine like this color wheel was made of paint, and you took a paintbrush and you blended right here between these two colors. So basically it's answering the question, what happens if you mix red and orange? Well, over here it tells us if you mix red and orange, you get red-orange. What happens if you mix yellow and green? You get yellow-green. So those are our tertiary colors. It's what comes between the colors on the rainbow. So this is the color wheel that we're going to be looking at. It looks like it's a lot, but really it's pretty simple if you know your rainbow order. It's red, red, orange, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, yellow, green, green, and on and on. So we're going to be looking at analogous color families. And what analogous color families means is that you pick a color on the color wheel. So for example, red, we're going to pick red. It's red with the two colors next to it. So it's red, red, orange, red, violet, or red, purple. So I'm looking for right here, my red analogous color family is those three colors. And that's how we refer to them as. So if I'm looking for my green analogous color family, it's green and the two colors next to it. So it's green, yellow, green, and blue, green. And that one is right here. So we're going to be looking for analogous color families in our projects, and you're just going to pick which one you like the best. So if I were to pick which one I like best, my favorite color is purple. So it's probably going to be one of these down here, but what you pick is completely up to you. You might pick yellow-orange because your favorite color is orange, or you might pick any of the other ones. So we're going to look at the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, Spain. This is a church. This is a picture of it right here. And it began construction in 1882, and it still isn't finished. So that's been under construction for 138 years, and it's still not finished. They say that they hope to have it finished in the next 10 years, but they've said that before. So this is a picture of it as it is right now. Some people think it looks like melting cheese on this part, but that was a design choice by the architect Antoni Gaudí. He had some really interesting ideas about architecture, but he also died very shortly into the construction of this building. And so since then, a lot of people have got a lot of ideas about what they want this to look like. And so that's why we see so many different styles on it. And it almost looks like different buildings put into one. So let's look at the next slide. So this is a picture of the entrance, one of the entrances to the church. I believe this is a model of it right here. I believe it might be this entrance right here. It could be a different one though. But here's the people for scale, so you can see about how big this church is. So you can see all these really interesting architectural details. You can see all these statues and all these carvings, all these archways, and up here is that kind of melted cheese looking stuff. And what I think is really interesting is this over here. I found this, this is a computer made model. The stuff in brown is the stuff that they've already constructed. So this is the stuff that we're looking at right now when we see pictures of it. The stuff in white is the stuff that they have not created yet. This is from last year, so this might be slightly outdated, but for the most part, this is fairly accurate to what it looks like today. So look, this tallest part right here, this white part, hasn't even been constructed yet. So look how much taller this church is actually going to get. I'm going to flip it back to the last slide so you can see, but look for the missing part right here in the very center, and you can actually see they've started something in there. That huge spire is going to go right here. And these are all wrapped up because they're not done yet either. I don't know if they're going to fix these. These kind of look like a hornet's nest or a wasp's nest to me. I don't know if they're going to keep them that way. But that huge spire is going to go right here in the middle, and it's going to get that much taller. But I just think that's so interesting. It's been under construction for so long, and it's still not finished, and we're actually watching this get created year after year. So these are the windows of the Sagrada Familia, and they're very famous for being absolutely gorgeous, but also because of the colors that they've chosen to use. So in many of the windows, not all of them, but in many of the windows, they've chosen to go with analogous color families. So this one over here, if I had to pick an analogous color family, I would say this one is probably an orange family, because I'm seeing some reds, red-orange, some yellow, but mostly this kind of looks like an orange to me. And then over here, we have this kind of blue-violet analogous color family. I don't really see any green in here, but I see plenty of blues and some purples. So I'd say this one might be a blue-violet color family. This is what the windows look like when the sun hits them just right. You can see that the windows are like glowing almost, especially these. These colors glow super bright. And you can actually see that they're casting these lights and these colors onto the white marble around them. And I'll show you in the next picture what it looks like when the sun hits them just right. And it's casting these beautiful lights onto the marble around it. So the church on the inside is a lot of white marble. And so these analogous color family windows create these absolutely gorgeous effects where they're kind of casting their color family onto the surrounding marble. So you can see here we have a window that was probably like a yellow-green color family going all the way down to probably what's an orange color family. And it just looks so beautiful. I have never been to this church, but it is on my list of places to go. So we're going to look at analogous color families in these windows, and we're going to be inspired as we're creating our own artwork today. So you're going to be picking an analogous color family that you want to use for your art project, and when we're finished, it should look something a little bit like one of these stained glass windows. So if you choose to have like this might be orange color family, your project might look something like this. If you choose a yellow-green, or this might just be green because I am seeing a little bit of blue over here, it might look something like that. And then if you choose blue, it might look like this over here. So let's get started putting this in our artwork. All right, so here is my contour drawing ready to receive color. So we're going to talk about the types of materials that we're going to use for our project. So I grabbed pretty much everything that I have to color something with. The things that I have are markers. I have Mr. Sketch skinny ones. I do have other types of markers, but I feel like this might be enough. I have colored pencils. I have crayons, and I also have oil pastels. I do have watercolor paints, but I'm going to show you how to make watercolor paints using markers and some foil. So if you have watercolor paints, you can use those as well. If you have anything else, feel free to use whatever you want to create color on your project. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose an analogous color family. And like I said, my favorite is probably going to be violet color family, because then I'm going to go to like the magenta red violet and then the blue violet kind of colors. So what I have to do is I have to choose from all of my materials here, I have to choose the colors that I think will work for that. So we're looking for blue violet, violet, and red violet. Alright, so I have most of my materials picked out over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start coloring in spots with the materials I have chosen. So right here I have just a small square, so I'm just going to fill that in with this colored pencil that I think looks like a red violet. If you would like to switch materials after every single thing you color, you can. Or you can just kind of skip around and fill in 5 or 6 of them with one material at a time. It's completely up to you. Now I don't want to make you watch while I do this entire thing, so what I'm going to do for my next one is I'm going to show you how to mix together oil pastels, if that's what you have. So I had a pretty limited selection of oil pastels in my box, so I really only had violet, red, and blue. And so I can use the violet one without a problem. So let's see what that looks like right here. Beautiful, but something that oil pastels are really great with is blending. So I have a violet spot right there, all finished, all the white filled in, but let's see if we can get this one to blend to a blue violet. So I'm going to fill it in with purple, and then I'm going to take my blue one and just color right over top of it. And it should blend to a blue violet because oil pastels work a lot like paint. They're just in stick form. They can be pretty messy, but that's okay. All right, so now we have kind of a blue violet. It's looking a little bluey, but that's okay. And then I can take my red. Let's do this spot right here. So I can do purple first, and then I can do red over top. And that one is definitely a red violet. If I think it turned too red, you can just take your violet and take it right back over it. And just keep blending them. Oil pastels are really good about that. There we go, that might be the perfect red violet color. And maybe this one's looking a little too blue, so maybe I'll take some of the purple back over top, and there we go. That's much prettier. Okay, so we did that. I showed you how to blend that. So kind of the same thing with the markers. I have this violet, this blue, and this pink. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to use foil to make watercolor paints. So let me move some of this stuff. Turn this sideways. Here's my foil. So what I'm gonna do is take my markers, and you can use regular Crayola markers with this. I have done that before. And I'm gonna just color on foil with my markers. So there's purple. This marker is a little bit magenta-y. It looks really bright pink, but it is kind of magenta. And you can see that the colors do not want to stick to the foil. I don't know what that circle is. That's really weird. What a perfect little circle. It doesn't want to color that spot. That's odd. And then we're going to take a paintbrush that has water on it. And I have a water cup over here with my paintbrushes in it. So here's my paintbrush. And it's wet. A little too wet. Okay, so I'm going to take a wet paintbrush, and I'm gonna just pick up some of this purple, and then when I go over here to my project, it actually works like watercolor paint, like that. So something else that can be really cool about this, let me get a little more color. Something else that you can do with these type of marker watercolor paints is that you can actually mix your colors together. So if this one's a little too pinky and not purpley enough, I can mix the two. And then we'll color this spot here. I need a little more water on my brush. And of course, they don't work exactly like regular watercolor paints, but in a pinch, if you don't have watercolor paints, they work pretty well. So keep picking them up. Oops, I got a little outside my lines, but that's okay. Like that. And then I can give it a little clean. I can do my blue and purple. And see if I can get like a navy blue. Oh, that's a little too bluey. Let's add a little more purple. There we go. A little more purple. There we go. So then it works like watercolor paint. I just think that's so pretty and such a good trick if you only have markers. So I'm going to spend some time just filling my picture in here with all of my analogous colors to the violet analogous color family. So here is my completed analogous color project. So I'll insert a picture here. I learned a couple things while doing this too, and probably the most important one is to paint your picture last and do all the dry media first. So you can see on my picture I have some spots on my paper. That is water droplets from where water fell on it, and then the dry media didn't want to stick to the paper. I can let this dry and then try to color those spots again, but if I were you, I would save all the painting for last. So again, here is my stained glass project inspired by the windows of the Sagrada Familia and done on a contour drawing from last week. So I really look forward to seeing what you guys are able to come up with on your projects. I'm excited to see the different types of color families that we see, and mostly I just want you guys to create. So have fun, turn in a picture of your project so that I can see it, and I will share those with the class, and I hope you guys have fun. Bye.